Well. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TDC Podcast with Mike. T-Roy's in the house. What up, T?
Hey, man.
How are you, pal?
I'm all right.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. There's something about a sunshiny day.
Oh, it's gorgeous out there
It's
today.
beautiful.
50 degrees, sun's
Yeah.
out.
I was really pissed the other day. I got, they were going to move my surgery again. Mm-hmm. They were like, yeah, because I got to go get fitted for the Mazer robot, which is, because they've got to do all kinds of special things.
The working one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, yeah, you got to go get fitted to this. Make sure you do it 24 hours before your surgery. And then, we can go do this. I was like, yeah, no problem. And I'm a couple weeks out. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. So I call them and they're like, yeah, we can't see you for till X date. And it was a week after my surgery. I was like, that's not going to.
I don't think that works out.
That's not going to work. And so they ended up being able to move it. But one of they called and made some sort of arrangement, and they're able to do it. And they were like, yeah, now I got to go day of surgery to get fitted with this thing. And then they're like, yeah, and then we'll get that all squared away, and then we'll do your surgery later that day.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, cool. And they're like, yeah, you need to be there at 7:30 in the morning. And it was one of the ice storm days. And I'm like, fuck, all I could think was, God damn it, it's going to be freezing. And that means I got to get up at 5 in the morning to be there by 6:30 for my fitting at 7. Oh, this is a nightmare. This blows. But then on days like this, when it's like, I could take Cece out and the sun's shining and it's fucking, the ice is off the trees.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's just a different world.
I have good news for you.
What?
It's fucking March.
Yeah.
We're coming out of it,
We're
man.
coming out of it, dude.
We're coming out of it.
What March can blow?
Oh, I know, but it's the last of the blows.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's March, April. April showers bring May flowers. So
right.
Yeah. So that's true. So we got to get through this month. And
Yeah. I mean, you're generally going to get another snow, a little more ice.
Yeah.
It's not like it's nice.
Yeah.
But the worst is generally behind us.
Thank God.
And you're starting to see more days like this.
Yeah. We need these. I was really glad when you were telling me the other day. I was like, we're going to lose power again. You're like, I don't think so.
Nope.
It's going to get warmer. I'm like, yeah, but dude, it's like 7 o'clock at night. And you're like, no, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, midnight. It's getting warmer. And then like the rest of the week.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is great news.
Snow's gone, everything.
Speaking of surgeries, I want to send let a couple people know we're thinking about them today. A couple dear friends of ours. First off, Tooch had his back surgery. That's our boy.
Dr. Captain.
Exactly. He's the fucking best. And Tooch has been dealing with the same stuff as me. He just doesn't have a touch scoliosis like I do. So he got in quicker. He didn't have to do the robot thing. And so I was texting with his girl this morning and said, hey, if there's anything, we can do to help, you need help with Callie, you need help with, the good doctor, just let us know. And so she was thrilled with that. But she texted and said, Jimmy went through, the doctors have come out, he did great, blah, 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 which is great news. So
Excellent.
we're thinking about him. And also Betsy Arnold.
Oh, no.
From Arnold Roofing.
Yeah.
She's got the shit going on. And it sounds like they did a whole fucking fusion. She was texting me this morning. And it really, I love hearing from people, whether it's email or, for those people that have my cell phone and text me, it means the world to me. I know I can be kind of dark at times. Yesterday was a good example of that. I know it probably bums some people out. I'm sorry. It's my curse and blessing to be as honest as I am about things. And when things hit me sideways, I tend to spill them. It's kind of cathartic for me, and I know that's not for everybody, but it is what it is. But I heard from a lot of people, and she was one of them who's in the hospital. She's going to be there for the rest of the week. Arnold Roofing, they do great work. They put a roof on here a few years back.
Absolutely.
And she's like, listening to you and Troy, when I got out of surgery and hearing you guys just is making this stay okay. Hearing you guys just is fucking awesome. It's the first thing I did when I got out of surgery, and I'm like, that is so awesome to hear. And she sent me the list of what they did to her, and it's like,
oh boy,
Christ.
This was another back issue?
Same thing, yeah.
Okay,
But
wow.
hers is like L2 to S1 fusion.
Oh boy.
Like, they just took her whole spine and went, yeah, we're just going to glue it all together. You'll never move again.
So bacchiotomy she got going on there.
But all I could think was, they got to have you on the dopest pain meds. Like, you got to be like, when you're staying in the hospital for 4 days, they're just loading you up with shit.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in there that long, they don't want you moving around.
You're getting rewarded. But she's going nuts. She's like, I'm pushing the fucking button, and they're so busy. She's like, at this point, they're 5 minutes late, and I'm fucking dying here. She texts back, now they're 15 minutes late. Fuck, I'm dying here. And the last text I got with her was a few hours ago. She's like, 50 minutes late. Still haven't seen the nurse. I'm like,
Jeez.
ooh, boy.
That's
That's not good.
That's not late. That's non-existent.
And I think they got her on like Dilaudid, which is like the Michael Jackson shit.
Right.
You know, like that's no bullshit. So yeah, but the nurse knows it, feels bad. We don't need to out the hospital or anything, but
No.
She said, you know, they're like, push the button 5-10 minutes early. Give me a warning, you know, and I'll get
Or
there as
50.
fast. Or 50. I'll get there as fast as I can. It's the last thing you want to be
As soon as
thinking
they
of,
come
though.
in, just it's like when, all you can eat shit. When they bring it out, be like, just go ahead and fire up another one.
Exactly.
Or just we'll put you on the clock right now.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So it sounds like as soon as I wake up from mine, I'm just going to be pushing the button. Just lay on it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to
Just tape
tape the button down and then be done with it.
Well,
So,
Betsy, feel better because she's still got to come in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got to visit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Bring all your pain meds with you. Let's make a party of it.
All right.
Do you like pain meds at all, T?
No.
No.
Nope.
So you wouldn't like heroin? You wouldn't like... See, I'm glad I've never gotten into heroin because I would love heroin. I just know it. Because it's it's just basically the same thing
I don't know.
as pain meds.
I
But
did it
dude,
a couple times way back in the day.
You know what?
I hated it.
I remember the very first time I did it. I was living in a townhouse in Royal Oak, right off Main Street. Derek's family had a townhouse, and Derek lived downstairs before he moved to San Diego.
Mom, turn this off.
And I was upstairs. I was dating Amy at the time, and Derek was downstairs, and I got these meds. And Derek and I would play video games every day. I'd get home from work. He was a student at the time. I was done at noon or 1. And so we'd fucking start playing SSX and shit like till 3 in the morning, get hammered, and then I'd go to work and he'd go to school. He was getting ready to go to San Diego, like I said. And anyway, I took one, I think and this is in the days when they'd give you, you've got a tinge of pain in your back.
Hangnail here.
Here's 8,000 Vicodin. Call us next week if you need more. And so I had a doctor, and I literally had a bottle of 60 that probably lasted 3 years. And I took one, and I was fucking drooling on myself on the couch. Drooling. And it was like, what the fuck? Knocked me out. I woke up, and Amy and Derek are just sitting there. They'd been there for hours. They're like, yeah, we didn't know what to do with you. You were just melted into the couch. And that happened because my neck would go out was the problem at the time, and I couldn't turn my head. But that shit really, really worked. But there were the first couple, and I tell people this, you really got to push through those initial days where it's like, I didn't like the way it made me felt. Relax. Give it some time. You'll learn to love it, okay? I hear that with heroin, people can throw up right away. And it's like, just push through that. You'll get on the other end of that in a couple days, and then apparently it's great.
Yeah, glad I never pushed through that.
Yeah, yeah. So you're smart. You never pushed through it. You would have come out the other end because you love a good buzz.
I do.
But I'm glad I never went down the H route because I just know. I know it would have been that same type of buzz, which I could dig. No doubt about it. So anyway.
When I blew my eye out, I was, I was on them pretty heavy. Like,
Yeah.
fucking,
I can imagine.
yeah, because that fucking hurt. Whew, that one hurt.
Oh, I bet. You mean jamming a rod through your eyeball hurt?
Yeah.
Wow.
That one tough. That was tough. But
Dude, I'll never forget you telling that story, by the way, and seeing you get emotional
oh yeah.
20 years later. Or
Yeah,
whatever
thinking
the
I was
fuck it
blind. Yeah, thinking I lost my eye.
Yeah.
that was
like,
tough, man.
But you didn't. And you think now, like, it's funny. We can laugh about it now. No, there was nothing funny about it when you were telling that story.
not really.
I was like, oh, shit. I think he's going to cry.
No, except for the
He's
guy-
only got tears coming out of one eye, but still.
the other one's wonky, staring off. The other one's glass.
And you've got beautiful blue eyes. It would have been a real shame to lose one of those sons of bitches.
I don't know what I would have done. The glass or just a patch or what. I have no idea.
You can patch.
Anyway, but no, I was, I was on like strict bed rest.
Yeah.
I couldn't like strain or anything because of the stress to my eye. So
Sure.
I couldn't, my kids were young. I couldn't pick up my kids. I couldn't like do anything. But I was on, I think it was Vicodin, I'm pretty sure. And they, I got like constipated as shit.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
then, so I'm in the bathroom, like,
Oh my God. Yeah. Eye
like
pressure.
like thinking my eyes gonna explode, trying to like, and I stopped because the not being able to shit was so much worse
Yeah.
than just the pain that I stopped taking the Vicodins because of it.
See, this is another curse of mine. The fact that my stomach has historically been such a shit show. Yeah, I fucking broke that yesterday. Sorry.
Awesome.
Yeah. I was trying to pop it out and I broke something on the computer. Gee. My stomach has been such a train wreck since I was 18 that they made me normal. So it was like, oh, these are great. Whether it was oxys or, because everybody says that. Everybody's like, oh my God, it makes you constipated. Some people take stool softeners to fix that. I was like, hey, I'm living a normal life.
It would have been nice.
I'm somewhat regular now.
Especially the situation I was in. They would have given me that heads up. You know, like,
you should have called me. I could have told you that.
You might want to get a stool softener to go with that too, you know?
Yeah.
Because you might have some problems, and the fact that you can't strain with your eye could become an issue.
Yeah, that's the first thing that strains is your eyeballs when you're like pushing for anything.
Think about that. So that was a terrible situation.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting on, I remember sitting on the fucking shitter just going,
that sucks.
Yeah, the worst.
Yeah.
So no, I've been fortunate enough that I've used them here and there for certain situations.
Yeah, when it gets unbearable.
Yeah. And a time and a place, they serve a purpose.
Yeah.
But
I know people that can do that, and God bless them. The problem with anybody that's got addiction issues, and I can attest to that, is you can work yourself up like, okay, this is how this is going. I've been allotted X a day, and I'm just going to take X a day. It's the way it's going to go, and this is what we're doing, and we're not going to exceed that. We're not, and it's just, it doesn't work that way with people, that struggle with those issues. I used to be able to do that, sort of. Like I said, when I first started taking those, I was probably 23 at the time, 24, and it was easy as shit. It was like, oh, I have a problem. I'll take this for 2 days, and I never think about it again. And then I'd blow my neck out in 4 months, and I'd be like, oh, they're not expired yet. I guess I could still take them. That's much harder for as I got into abuse and shit like that. It became near impossible to sort of play that game and really keep yourself in check. It's just the reality of it. So. I have to be very, very careful anytime I even think about it, no matter what level you're at. You just have to, Well,
I'm proud of you, kid.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not on them now. You know what I mean? And I haven't been on them for a bit. I shouldn't say that out loud. My doctor gave me some, and of course, I went through them much quicker. He dropped me down quite a bit because they don't want you to have a tolerance. When you go into surgery knowing that they're going to put you on them, they don't want you to have a high tolerance. Not that I was on a really high tolerance, but everything nowadays is considered a high tolerance. So, and I'm fine. I don't have any issues with it. And believe me, that terrified the shit out of me that I was going to, oh my God, I took them for 3 days. Am I fucked again? Because I remember how bad it was.
Yeah.
So being off them is okay. I hope that's the case come surgery time. I've heard mixed things, so we'll see. But we'll get through it.
Big picture, man.
Yeah.
Big picture.
But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there. We're thinking of Betsy Arnold and our boy Tooch today, as they're both literally laying in a hospital bed, at least
I wonder if they're in the same hospital.
I don't know. I know where Betsy is. I can't remember where Tooch said he was, and I probably best not to even say either of them. But anyway.
Yeah, maybe we could put the room out there and send them flowers.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love flowers in the hospital?
Me. No? I think flowers are fucking so dumb.
I've never gotten them.
So dumb. I mean, I've gotten them because they're easy. Mother's Day, your girlfriend.
Or like I've never received them is my point.
Yeah, and I hope never to. You know what the other one is that I've talked about? Cards. Cards. Unless it's got money in it, gift card in it.
Yeah.
But if it's like, hey, happy birthday, you're just writing someone a card. Fuck, I just don't play that game. I just can't get into the card game.
Can we talk about the shake weight?
Yeah, I'd love to.
What the fuck?
It was so, okay. Hold on.
Well, I came home and pulled up, and there was a box sitting outside the garage door, which is very.
I knew you were going to pick it
Which
up.
is very common for Amazon deliveries, whatever. Instead of going around to the front door, they drop them off right by the garage door.
Yeah.
So it's exactly what I thought it was. So I picked it up, started looking at it, and there was no like shipping label, no name, because seeing if it was for you or for me. There's not. And the only thing on it is it says shake weight. And I'm like, okay, this can't actually be, a
shake
weight or whatever.
Yeah.
I walked inside and sure as fuck, it's a shake weight. I'm
Yeah.
like, you're on the phone, so I couldn't actually talk to you at the time. And I'm like, this motherfucker order a shake weight? Like, what in the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And then it's carry on. So that was how I came home today.
Well, my lease is up. And so I'm working on a deal with Zot to get in a new lease, blah, blah, blah. And we've been dealing with it all day. So anyway, I was like, well, I might as well start cleaning this car out. There's just shit everywhere. and so, well, that's weird. Wow. Okay. T's getting a call right now from Zot Ford.
Ironic.
Jesus Christ. So anyways, I just grab a bag, and this is my routine. And I don't care if you go back to my Lincoln back, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. I can have a bag somewhere upstairs that's just filled with all the shit, and I never go through it again.
Yep.
So anyways, I took a bag outside, and it wasn't too bad, but, I'm going through every cubby, under seats, and I'm just pulling everything out. And in the back seat, and it's been there for a few months now, is this box with a shake weight. Now, that box was not in there when I went to Arizona for the holidays. I was gone for 3 weeks, right?
Okay, yep.
So before I left, I had Tooch drive me to the airport, and
in this vehicle.
All
right.
And then he was going to drive it. He's like, you know what? Something's fucked with his heating in his truck, and it was dead of winter. So he's like, I'm going to drive over to your house. Let's take your Explorer, and then I'll bring it back, and then I'll take my car. I was like, okay, do me a favor. Bring the keys inside, lock it up, and then if T needs it, he can take it, whatever. So anyways, it had a full tank of gas. It was whatever. And so I fucked off, and I was gone for 3 weeks. I ended up getting stuck there for an extra week.
Yeah.
And then I came home, and that box was in the truck. And I was like, okay, either Tooch took the truck or T took the truck one day.
When I came back that day that he took you to the airport, by the time I came home, truck was already here.
Yep.
Locked and keys hanging.
Yep.
And I never touched the truck until the day I went in to take it to come pick you up from the airport.
Okay.
So
I've never bought a shake weight in my life. It looks like, first off, the gayest thing in the history of weight systems.
Yeah.
Right? It looks like it's just a jack-off thing.
Right.
I've never bought one. I've never owned one. I've never been gifted one that I'm aware of.
Man.
No, it's not my thing. I do want the different hand weights. I was using those at G's, and I actually got a little definition for a bit there when I was living in Arizona, and I would grab those 20s.
Yeah.
And I started with the 10s, and then I was doing the 20s, and I would just do them every day. I was doing this shit and this shit, and this shit.
So you can do that all with shake weight.
Maybe.
Just not when I'm in the house.
I never would. So anyways, I've thought about that. Like, I need to get one of those
till you get to
triangles. Yeah. So yeah, that box has been in the truck, and I opened it one day, and I was like, a fucking shake weight? Really? Is this a joke by someone? So what I assumed was T borrowed the truck, the Explorer, while I was out of town for a few weeks, which I wouldn't have cared about. I got plenty of miles that I haven't used. So that would have been fine. And I don't know, maybe he went over to his girl's house or something, and she had one and gave it to him, and who knows? It's been in there, and I don't know. So I took it out today, and just when I was doing all that, I just leaned it up against the thing, and I was like, I bet when T gets home, he's going to think that's a package, and he's going to bring it in. I have no idea. It looks like a brand new shake weight. I have no idea whose it is.
Still in the pack. Exactly. Look brand new, unused. So the only thing I can think is Tooch. It's got to be. Somehow,
can't
Tooch,
imagine.
He shake weighted you.
Tooch would have shake weighted me.
He did. That's like getting rickrolled.
I could see Beth doing that. I can't see Tooch doing that, and then never saying anything, because I've never said anything to anyone.
Right? Yeah, it can be like so pissed, like playing the joke, like, and then never like saying it. You can't call them out on it because then they know it was you.
Well, that's funny you say that,
like
because
the Obama plate.
That happened to me years ago when Derek was getting married, right?
Yeah.
And Beth and I played the greatest prank in the history of pranks. And it was her idea. Greatest fucking prank ever. I challenge anyone to beat this. And I've told this before, but it hasn't been in years. So I had a key to Derek's place. He's always had a key to my places over the years and whatnot. So I was like, he was having his rehearsal dinner or something. So Beth and I fuck out. We take off. And we go and pick up a couple porn mags, like hardcore.
Yeah.
Gay porn, everything you can imagine porn. And we went to his house, right? And took hours to go through every frame in his fucking house. And you don't realize just how many frames and pictures someone has between sitting on a desk to hanging on the wall. Every one in his fucking house. And didn't just, we unscrewed the backs of them, took them out, and put specially cut pictures of the most hardcore porn you've ever seen and literally replaced everything on the walls, everything. His light switches had the dicks cut out, so it was just like some dude leaning back with the light switch looks like.
Fantastic.
Dude, we spent hours. It's the fucking greatest thing I've ever seen. Now, here's where this turned into a nightmare. Day goes by. 2 days go by. 3 days go by. 4 days go by. 5 days go by. He hasn't said a fucking word. There's no way he can miss it at all. Not possible. Yeah. And I would think if at a minimum, even if he didn't suspect me at all, if he thought it was anybody else on planet Earth, he would have at least called me and gone, bro, you're not going to fucking believe.
Right.
You have to come over and see what the fuck someone did in my house. I would assume he would suspect me because who else is going to have a key to his house besides his mom and dad maybe? Or you, like, but he would know. He wouldn't put it past me. Doesn't say a fucking word. And I'm like, I'm going to game of chicken now with him.
Right.
And I'm like, what the fuck do I do? And Beth's like, he hasn't said anything. I'm like, no. This, finally, after a week.
I love what you did with the place.
Yeah. Finally, a week goes by. And finally, I'm like, I just hinted at something with pictures or frames. Somebody goes, bro, was that fucking you? I was like, dude, who else would it be? He's like, oh my God,
it's
man.
terrifying to think that he wasn't sure that was you.
Right.
Like, who else?
Who the fuck else would it be? Now, at the time, he had people, he went to U of M, and most of his frat brothers were from New York and shit, and so they're all in town. So it was mayhem when that was going on. He had tons of people from all over the country in town for that wedding. And but yeah, it was like, how have you not said anything for a week? And it still hasn't gotten the play that I think it deserves. That should be something.
That is spectacular.
Like, he should have taken photos of it. It should be in its own photo album. Like, you're not going to believe. Here's what my fucking friends did.
Yeah, that is exceptional.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a prankster myself. So
Yeah, dude.
Mad respect.
I'm telling you, it was. And you know what the best part is? 100% Beth's idea. And I was
really?
like,
nice. Well done,
she's
Beth.
nasty at times.
Yeah, girl.
Nasty.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
good ones are.
Yeah. I was like, dude, okay, can we pull this off? She's like, fuck yeah, we can pull this off.
Nice.
And we went ham in that
That's
house.
spectacular.
Hilarious. Hilarious. So, yeah, anyway. All right, should we get to some news?
We should, I suppose. Just, for the record, with all the Zot talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in Holly, and they're jonesing to help you, Michael, get a brand new Ford, all while delivering that exceptional deals and world-class experience. Right now, you can lease a new loaded 22 F-150 Super Crew XLT as low as $292 a month for 24 months, or a new jammed-up 22 Explorer XLT as low as $333 for 24 months. And if you tell our friends over at Zot Ford the TDC sent you, they're going to kick in $500 worth of accessories with no additional charge for that new F-150. Zot Ford is still paying $2,000 over your appraised value when you lease or buy a new Escape, Edge, or Explorer, but only if you know the name of Eric Fady's favorite little critter, Tony. Finally, Gabar and the team are still going nuts and offering 0% financing on lots of new in-stock vehicles. Check out the voluptuous inventory and dazzling deals at dealsinthed.com.
Okay, let's get to what's going on in the world.
Sure.
I've tried to limit, as you know, some of the politics involved in stuff. Sometimes it's worth talking about.
Well, of course. It's still a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so happy. You know, I'm so disenfranchised at this point because I don't know what's real and what's not when it comes to elections. I don't want to be an election denier. I don't feel like someone that's one of these like conspiracy theorists. At the same time, I find it hard to believe someone like a dead Joe Biden got 15 million votes more than Barack Obama. Like sorry, call me crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of racists out there.
No, the dude got more votes than anybody. Like he did. Like Trump got 11 million more votes than he did the first time he won.
Mm-hmm.
For context, Obama got 8 million votes less than when his second time when he was elected. He got 11 or 8 million votes or 11 million votes less than he did the first time and won in a landslide. So Trump picks up 20 million votes, 11 million votes, whatever it was. I can't remember the exact number. Millions and millions and millions of votes and loses. Like, so shit like that is just unheard of historically. Yeah. When you talk about historic, like voting patterns, that's historic. Okay. So pardon me if I don't, you know, but then I look at Pennsylvania and you go, wait, hold on. It's one thing to elect a half dead Joe Biden because so many people hate voted against Trump. Okay, you can make that argument, but how a John Fetterman gets in? Fetterwoman, and he's now so depressed. He's at fucking Walter Reed Medical Center. Reports last week were coming out that he's brain dead.
Okay.
His wife skipped town, like isn't even visiting him. Grabbed the kids and went to Canada.
Oh, I thought she went to D.C.
No, yeah, right. Well, they'll have a special election at some point. So his staff. You could think if he's really in a good place, they would just take a video into the hospital. He's been there for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
He could do like a quick, 30-second video. Hey, everybody, I know people are worried about me. I'm working on myself every day.
Are they going to fucking take that goiter off his fucking neck while he's in there?
They did. Apparently that thing disappeared. So whatever he had. But he's lost all this weight. He looks weird. He's always looked fucking weird.
Yeah.
But that guy won. And I can't, we all watched the debates and went, fuck? I thought Joe Biden was dead.
Yeah.
The fuck? This guy, even if you go, hey, don't be an ableist. He's gone through a stroke. It's like, yeah, well, probably shouldn't be running a state then. Yeah, no offense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's some things that that people can do, some things they can't. And if you're looking for proper representation for your state, you probably don't want a half-dead idiot, going to bat for you.
Have somebody that can actually carry on a conversation with you. Ideal.
So I'm going the long way around here to get to the Beetlejuice ghoul in Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, who has just eaten shit every day, eaten more shit and more shit and more shit. And every time we see her, she's more absurd, more off target. The crime rates are through the roof in Chicago. There's no denying that.
Oh, well, no, you can. She denies it.
Yeah, so. I know. Yeah, that's true.
It's like there's not no denying it because clearly she can still deny it.
Well, she got smoked in the Chicago election last night.
There was an election?
Yep.
For?
Mayor.
Really?
And she got
what is that?
Fucking smoked.
Is that normal for?
Yeah.
What, just like the timing of it?
I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
I just didn't even know.
They had 8 people running. So they got mostly black people, and then there was a white guy who ended up getting the most votes.
Okay.
And so I've seen the jokes today.
Wait, does that mean he won?
No.
Okay.
Well, he got the highest percentage, but the way everybody does their elections differently. So when
what was it, Alabama or whatever, you had to have
Georgia.
At least Georgia. I'm sorry, we had to have at least 50%.
The runoff, exactly. Chicago is very similar. So So when you think of Georgia, you had to get to that threshold, which then throws it into an automatic special election. And then the winner take all in that if no one reaches the majority 51%. Same thing happened in Chicago. So she finished behind.
Well, how the fuck you really think you can run 8 people like that and somebody's going to get 50%?
Yeah, someone that does a good job can.
Well,
Ron DeSantis would, for instance. What
Chicago.
he did down in Florida. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's also not. I guess there's always right and stuff. But my point is, generally, it's a 2-person, maybe 3, election. It comes down to two people for the most part. I mean, and that's our two-party system at work. But
Right.
So having 8 people with their hat in the ring makes it virtually impossible for
Well,
somebody to get 50%.
Everybody has their way of doing things, and I don't know what it takes to get into. I'm not going to pretend to be any level expert of Illinois politics and how they're voting. That's the beauty of this country is that states and state governments can make up the rules for their particular counties and state stuff. You don't want the federal government involved in that shit, and which a lot of people would be happy to see, like national, voting stuff and make it federal. It's like, no, go fuck yourself.
Well, not necessarily federal, but
I don't want the federal government having control.
No, it's not federal government, but what I would like to is consistency. That's it. That it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about federal oversight.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about that everybody being on the same level or the same plan. Like the rules are sort of the same.
I like it the way it is, where each state can make their own rules how they see fit for themselves. And if you don't like it, move from the state. You know what I mean? Like I kind of like that, where it's like you can have special recall elections in some places. You can have
The only problem I see with that too, though, that I have with that is when the rules can be changed. But when you get a one party dominant, you can change the rules and move more into your favor. You can change it. So that's why I say I would rather be consistency across the board and no matter what it is. Because people in Nebraska aren't any different than the people in Ohio. Right. And they're
You know what though, man?
the political system's the exact same. Everything's the exact same, except the rules are somehow different in how they govern themselves.
Well, when you have states like California, and you could do this, not to pick on blue states, but inner cities have their own issues. And whether it's Baltimore or Cleveland or Detroit or
Chicago.
Los Angeles or San Francisco, Chicago, Baltimore, if I didn't mention them.
Yeah, that's the first one, I think.
Okay. They keep voting in the same party time and time again. And it makes people like Lori, the Beetlejuice ghoul, think that they have...
That's the second time you said it.
They have...
Be careful.
That's okay. Yeah, that's true. I'm not saying it bang, bang, bang. So
I'm not sure how the rules go.
But it makes them think they're untouchable. They can do whatever they want. They don't even have to govern properly. They don't have to lead. They can just play the blame game and get away with it. And until finally people have had enough and they go, no, even though we have consistently voted in the same party for 60, 70, 80 years in a row, at some point, enough. And they can still vote for Democrats, whatever. But this idea of just blanket wokeism. So anyways, getting to who she finished behind former public schools CEO Paul Vallis, who was the one white guy. He garnered 34% of the vote. Now, his big thing was law and order, okay? We are talking about, I am a crime guy, okay? We are not going to have a fucking state and a city run just letting hooligans get out of fucking prison early and just keep, hurting people, killing people, and just there's no consequences for it. I'm done. We're not doing this. Well, he got the majority of the vote so far, 34% of the vote. And in Cook County, Cook County Commissioner Brandon Johnson gathered 20% of the vote. Lightfoot received 17% of the vote. Bye, bitch.
You go.
Vallis and Johnson will meet in a runoff election on April 4th. Asked by a reporter after her concession speech, and I give her credit, she called both, congratulated them, and said, hey, it's a different time and people want to do their things. And of course, people can't wait to go, is it racism? Is it,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. So
She was the first one to, it's not even that it was a Democrat thing or a liberal thing. She was
a nightmare.
She was a disaster. And she was a black female lesbian liberal. So she was just bulletproof in there. Didn't even matter. As soon as you came at her, it was, didn't she not allow white reporters. Was that her?
Yeah, that was her. Yeah.
What a fucking peach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quality.
Yeah, she tried. I don't know where that went, but that was the story.
Right.
And it was just like, who can outwoke who was kind of the narrative you're seeing. It's like, oh, yeah, well, how about we just have POC, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color reporters allowed in the media room of the mayor, so that they get a chance to blah blah blah. And it was like, okay, that's illegal, like on its face, right? But it's like you're not even thinking about the big picture and how absurd that is. Like it is what it is. But we see this all over the country, this kind of behavior going on. So someone asked, of course, and it's just baiting her, if she was treated unfairly because of her race and gender. She said, I'm a Black woman in America, of course.
Of course.
She was elected mayor in 2019, but became the first mayor.
She didn't say ghoul?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
She was, she was voted in 2019, became the first Chicago mayor in 40 years to lose a re-election bid.
Okay. They just term out?
Yeah, or they get reelected and then they bounce at some point. You're talking Rahm Emanuel, and I don't remember who was there before, but Rahm Emanuel was kind of a shithead too, but better than her. Crime in Chicago has risen, and here's the real problem. Okay, so she can say it's because I'm Black, I'm a woman, all she wants.
The Bears want the fuck out.
Yeah.
I mean, they bribed the Bears to stay in the city, and they were like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
No
Bye.
fucking way. We'll pay for your stadium. Nope, I don't care.
Yeah.
We're getting out of here, and I'll pay for it myself.
We'll buy our own stadium.
Yeah, thanks anyway.
Yeah.
That's how bad it is.
We're going 40 miles outside your city. How about that? Go, no. So crime in Chicago has risen 52% since last year, 2022.
It's a pretty good clip.
And over 100% since 21.
Yeah.
There's your problem.
It's a huge problem.
Lightfoot was asked in recent months, there have been questions raised about your temperament and your reaction to criticism. How much of this do you think might have to do with the fact that you're a woman, and specifically a Black woman? 99% of it.
It's nothing to do with on-the-job performance.
No.
What?
Look at my predecessors. Did they say that about Rich Daley, that he held tea sessions with people that he didn't disagree on? Rahm Emanuel was a polite guy who was a uniter. No. Women and people of color are always held to a different standard. I understand that. I've known that my whole life. So here's the sad part to me.
Do your job.
You will
be loved.
You had a chance to be special.
You could have a dick growing out of your forehead.
Yep. You had a chance to be special, and you fucked it up. Yeah. You were a Black lesbian woman.
Ghoul.
And ghoul, Beetlejuice ghoul. You could have gone in and done what was best for the city of Chicago. Take that seriously. Don't try to change and make everybody that's white a villain. Make everybody, to say that racists and homophobes and sexists were the problem. Okay, does that mean racists and sexists and homophobes, they skipped voting that day when you were elected in 2019?
Are they the ones out there shooting people?
Yeah.
Are they the ones committing the crimes going,
Yeah.
Oh.
While you're out dancing to some weird fucking band in the streets when everybody's going, crime's up 100% in 2 years. And you're like, fuck you, I'm a lesbian. You hate me because I'm a lesbian. No, people hate you because the crime is out of control in your city.
You're incompetent. That's why.
No one cares that you're a woman. No one cares you're Black or that you like pussy. We all like pussy.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, no accountability. When she got called out for anything, it was always just excuse after excuse.
Yeah.
And it was because it was racist. It was homophobic. It was whatever it was. It was nothing was ever her fault.
Yeah.
I've actually, I have no idea. Like, I know Ducey's one of the guys in the White House, but
Peter, he's great.
There was a reporter that I think is probably why they banned the white reporters, because I think it was like this guy kept doing it. But he's owning her, constantly.
Yeah.
And I watched one of these videos of her at a press conference, and he was like, "Hey, what about all the businesses leaving downtown because it's not safe for their employees?" Mm-hmm. She was like, "No, they're not." He's like, yeah. And so every time he kept doing, it's a fucking great back and forth.
Yeah.
Because he just brought receipts for everything.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, no, yeah, this, and this. She's like, oh, I don't know where you're getting your information. Oh, no, I got it from here, here, and here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
And a lot
not
of times
true.
it comes from the government office releasing information.
I mean,
it's like your office.
backed
The
up
stats.
everything. And she just kept going like, no, that's not true. And he was like,
Yeah.
well, no, yeah, it is. Like, this is this. Crime's up 50%. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not. I don't know why you're saying that. It's not true. It was like, I mean, it was just amazing watching her just completely like lie and deflect and I mean, and take zero accountability and being like, yeah, we understand we've got a problem. We're looking into it. We're, nothing. It was so abhorrent. It was unbelievable.
Do you think you're the only black or female or gay person running a city in this country? You're not.
She's the only one running
not.
it into the ground.
Right. So why do we not focus on other cities around the country that have black or female or gay people running it? I don't even know what the numbers are, but I know it's not all just white men running everything.
Yeah.
It's not, especially in liberal or Democratic-led cities around the country.
Yeah.
We're not talking about them as much as we talk about Lori Lightfoot.
And I don't even care that she's black, that she's a woman, that she's gay.
Loves pussy.
She's horrendously ugly. That's my one issue really with that.
Yeah.
First of all,
And even that I could look
terrible
past.
mayor, a terrible mayor.
Terrible mayor.
And after that is just horrifically, offensively looking.
Now Jenny Fetter is obviously not ugly. I think
No.
she's fucking gorgeous. I think she's beautiful.
Yeah.
Right.
More
I've
beautiful on
said
the
it.
inside than out.
Yeah. Agreed. I've said I would marry her. I'd have to take on Raisa, but whatever.
Sure.
I can handle that.
You can scissor with the best of them.
Sure. If Jenny Fetter, a woman, a lesbian, white, but not a fucking an original American citizen, right? She's Russian. She's an American citizen now, but she's Russian and sounds every bit Russian. If she were to run for office, I would run through a brick wall to vote for her.
Yeah.
She's liberal.
Yep.
She's more Democrat than fucking conservative. That's for goddamn sure. She's gay and she's a woman. And I would fucking run through a brick wall to vote for her.
I'd run her campaign.
I would too.
Yeah.
For any office she wants to run for. She would look out for people. She's sensitive in the right areas. She's harder working than anyone I know. I would run through a brick wall to vote for her.
Yeah. Oh, so you're racist. It's because she's white.
It's right, of course. You can say whatever you want, and I know you're being funny, but but no, that's what Lori Lightweight would say.
Yeah.
That's what she would say, and it's sad. It's too bad because you know what? If you were really being honest, you would just go, look, maybe I went too far down this road of wokeism, and I didn't give people enough credit for looking past things. This is in the 1920s. No matter how much Biden wants to tell you it is, it's not the 50s. We don't need lynching laws in this country. We don't need the Emmett Till law. When was the last time someone was lynched in this country? Get the fuck out of here. This is not a real issue, okay? You can say it all you want. It doesn't make it true. And if this person just put her head down and went to work and looked out for the people that are doing their best to run a small business in her fucking city, she's looking out for her prosecutorial team that is worried about putting violent criminals in prison. Now, if you want to go, look, I'm still woke. Anybody that I don't know if marijuana is legal in Chicago. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Probably by now, but yeah.
But it's not everywhere. I don't know what Chicago's deal is, but maybe it is. But if you wanted to go back and go, anybody that's not a violent criminal that got busted on a drug charge, I'm going to do everything I can to get them out of jail. I know some conservatives will look at that and go, well, if you don't want to do the crime, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. I don't believe like that, and I'm fine with that. Fine. But you don't go look out for fucking criminals over and over and over to the tune of 100% increasement in crime in your city in 2 fucking years. You don't do that and then you don't get to lean on sexism, racism, and homophobia as the problem. No, you personally were the problem, lady. She blamed Time Magazine. Yeah.
Zero accountability.
Zero accountability.
At all.
Zero.
Through her entire, reign as mayor.
Yeah.
And now, even in defeat, you would hope that possibly you could show a little grace, humility, and, be a little introspective and go, yeah, you know what? In hindsight, I had some real failures in office. I should have done things different, better. But no, you're just going to still make excuses. It's not your fault.
I'll give her this, T. I watched her concession speech last night, and the main part of that, I mean, she's going to go on and on, but I only watched a 5-minute clip, and she was talking about calling the people, conceding,
sure,
thanking,
you got
whatever.
Your dick kicked in. You have no choice but to call and concede.
Yeah, but she didn't stand up there in that moment and go, "It's because I like pussy and I'm black that you all hated me and voted me out. This country's so racist." No,
but it will be when somebody asks her about it.
Of course. But in that moment, I want to give credit where credit's due. In that immediate moment.
The speech that someone else wrote for her, you mean?
Yes, okay, 100%.
Just checking.
Yeah.
The words that she was reading that someone else wrote?
Yeah.
Okay, good for her.
So you got a historic ass whooping, okay? 40 years since a Democratic fucking mayor in Chicago has lost
17% that would have voted for her?
I have no idea.
The criminals that can vote?
Yeah.
Oh, bring
Probably.
her. Why the fuck would you get rid of her? We need her.
Probably.
Amazing.
Yeah. Just doing this racist thing. I've watched a bunch of shows lately because as I was saying to you yesterday, I've really struggled to sleep lately, and last night was no different. And I just leaned into it. I stayed up. I was up till 4 a.m. on the couch bed. And then finally, my back was hurting so bad. I was like, you know what? I'm going upstairs. I can't lay on the couch bed. And I just started watching TV there, and I finally fell asleep sometime 6:30 maybe, and got up at 10. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to fall asleep. But anyways, what I've done with these extra hours at midnight to 6 a.m. the last few nights is I'm like, fuck it, I'll just watch some shit. So I started watching a show called DB Strike. Okay. Which is, I didn't know this. It's a BBC show. Tom Burke is the lead.
Big Black Hawk?
Yeah. The BBC out of England.
British Broadcasting Channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, but it turns out this is based on a bunch of novels by J.K. Rowling. I didn't know this. I actually, the first season was 9 episodes, 10 episodes or something, and I've kind of watched them over the last few weeks. And I got to a few episodes into season 2 before I started Googling some stuff, like, who is this actor? Is he really missing part of his leg? The lead is got his leg blown off in Africa or in Afghanistan. And it turns out, no, that they've CGI'd shit, and he's just a regular actor. And little known fact, his godfather is Alan Rickman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but these are based on novels written by J.K. Rowling, and they're really good. It's about a detective, DB Strike, and this female that comes to work for him, and and blah blah blah. But it unfolds, and they're solving cases as they go. But
are they just beating the shit out of trans people on the whole way?
Yeah, they're just constantly ragging on. It's one trans joke after another.
Sure,
no,
yeah.
Of course not.
No.
No.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is weird. I know it's coming because it's J.K. Rowling.
It has to be.
So anyway, one of the storylines in the last few episodes I've watched focuses on this group of anarchists, right? And that's a subplot in the storyline, but it shows them having a meeting at like this coffee place in London, and they get together every Tuesday and talk about how fucked up the world is and how they're, but one of the things they're doing is they're going into housing that is no one's living in right now, and they're just breaking in windows and going and living there. And they're like, fuck it, let them come here and rip us out of here. They can't, we'll fight back. And
Squatting.
Typical anarchist shit. Well, I thought it was interesting because literally going out of the Lori Lightfoot playbook, the Beetlejuice School.
Yeah. Oh,
they show these guys holding their meeting in this coffee house, and the guy's like, and remember, if anyone comes up and starts protesting what we're doing and blah, 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 go with racism. Just claim it's racism. They don't have a comeback for that. Just remember, that's the first thing. Just call them racist and sexist. Like, holy shit, they're acknowledging that this is the playbook.
Yeah.
That they don't really mean it. They just know that people go, oh, don't call me a racist.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, even the anarchists that are doing this, they know exactly what they're doing. Don't forget, folks, when they come here and they have a problem with it, just declare them racists. Remember.
Even if you're white.
Just scream it from the top of your lungs that they're racist. And it's like, yeah, that's what we're seeing here. We're giving a lot of oxygen to
Absolutely
what these people.
Well, this is a good sign as far as, we've talked about a sort of cresting, getting over that hill, like peaking and starting to come back down the other side, hopefully. So things like this of the ghoul, being not just, losing, but getting blown the fuck out.
Yeah, getting her twat kicked
the
in.
people have spoken and will hopefully continue to speak. And this will hopefully, snowball down the line when you start looking at these DAs and these just the disaster that they're creating out there. I mean,
it's a great point. And also, when you're talking about Lori, don't forget, and there's so many stories you could point to, examples. And I know we covered this back in 21. According to a lawsuit filed by a former Chicago Park District Deputy General Counsel who made a deal with an Italian-American group to allow a Christopher Columbus statue to be used in a parade. Lightfoot furiously told him, "My dick is bigger than yours and the Italians. I have the biggest dick in Chicago."
Yeah, she probably does.
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
Class.
Right.
Class. Well, you and your giant dick can go on your merry way now.
Yeah,
Good luck.
goodbye. And for the record,
Good job.
to be honest, I have no issue with that.
What?
Her talking about having the biggest dick. If she was using it
hate
properly,
when girls say
Right,
shit like
well,
that.
you know what? Listen,
Say I have the biggest twat in all of Chicago.
Right.
I got my twat is bigger than Chris Columbus's dick.
as long as you use it properly, then fine.
My bush goes from my asshole to my navel. It's bigger than Chris Columbus could dream of having a bush.
Yeah, I don't think that's bragging rights.
Well, to her, neither is
the
that
the
idiot.
Italians are going to be like, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Watch this. My bush goes all the way around my back.
My crack, my pussy, and my. Someone was playing that song in a show I was watching the other day.
Really?
Yeah, it was
my
like
neck,
my back, my pussy,
and my crack.
What is it? I'm trying to remember how it goes because there's more to it than that. But yeah, they were playing the song.
That's the catchy part.
Yeah. Anyway,
Just do one of those.
what? One of these? Radio for One. .com. That it's live. To buy merch there, sweatshirts, hats, winter beanies, all kinds of stuff. Amazon link, Amazon Canada, My Pillow. Use promo code TDC. I'm gonna reach out to them. I want to try that. Have you heard about the new My Pillow 2?
I have not.
Yeah, it's supposed to keep you cool.
Redux?
Like, yeah. He's like, the technology's new. It's got some threading along with his, what did he call it? His patented fill.
Patented fill, yeah.
His patented fill, and it's got some weaving through it. And
Okay.
it's the My Pillow 2, and it's supposed to be cool when you want it cool and warm when you want it warm.
I always want it cool.
Yeah, I do too.
Always.
But it looks dope, man. I'm like,
Okay.
there's a My Pillow 2. You want a couple?
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. Call your girl.
Okay, I will.
Set it up.
But yeah, promo code TDC. Get yourself
Outstanding.
one.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so or you can wait for us to report back because
Yeah.
I'll have Dawn send us
It'll
a
be
couple.
like
Do
Consumer Reports.
you want a king or a queen?
I only have queen pillowcases, so let's just go queen.
Really?
Yeah, I'm poor.
They can send you pillowcases
Well,
too.
fucking do that.
Yeah,
Tell,
kings.
tell
the
them they
shit,
have to be
man.
sheathed.
Sheathed. Okay, all right. We do have pillowcases here that are king.
Oh, I know,
You'll
because
be
you
all
have a king bed. Sire.
Yeah, your big ass fits in a queen. I don't think so.
Diagonally.
Groupon is there. Link to our Patreon page. God bless the Patreon page.
Absolutely.
Thank you to people that have signed up.
Yeah, we actually have a new member.
Yeah.
And this is, we've had some interesting,
Characters
along the way. We, without question, have Michael J. Fox's brother, sister, mother?
Okay.
I'm not sure. Francis J. Fox.
Frank Fox.
Francis J. Fox.
All right. I love it.
Is on board.
I feel like
I love the J. I love the J.
Yeah, the use of the J is great.
It is.
I wanted to use. I've thought about using my middle initial R for, Mr. W.
Okay. Yeah.
Michael Robert Walters.
Gotcha.
My dad's got the best one, RAW. His initials are Raw.
Raw. Oh, nice.
Isn't that kind of dope?
It's
Raw?
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was gonna have a son, I ended up with 2 girls. But
Yeah.
For the second when Chloe was born, you got to have a boy and a girl. We didn't find out, so we had to have one in the chamber each way. It was going to be Xander with an X, like Alexander, but without the ale. And then, but it would have been Xander Troy. So the
Okay.
initials would have been XTC.
Ecstasy.
Yeah.
Ecstasy.
And that was incidental. I actually
But yours
really
is
liked
better than anyone's, TDC.
Yeah, it's the best.
I mean, it's great.
I mean, it named a fucking show after it and everything.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, when we've got like TDC logos and shit, throw them on your truck and it's
Yeah.
perfect.
So welcome aboard, Francis.
Francis.
Oh, you didn't. Where's my
I feel-
laptop? Where's my laptop? Unmute the laptop.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I had something special.
Oh, go ahead.
Lighten up, Francis.
Classic.
What is that from
That is from Stripes.
Stripes?
Yeah.
I feel like
Francis. Nobody calls me Francis.
Francis should have been a member a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, maybe. And
I mean,
maybe.
he's been a listener for a long time.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm not shaming anybody.
I
Welcome
know.
to the party, pal.
Okay. And if so, then where is the LSD when we need them?
Yeah.
I mean,
the
what are-
listener shaming department. I forgot about
What
that.
are we even doing here?
That's a great point. Great point.
Either way, welcome aboard.
Send us your emails, walters@detroitcast.com. We got quite a few emails yesterday. People really seem to be enjoying the whipped cream and strawberries. I never know what people are going to find funny. But
Sure.
for some reason, people really enjoyed your saying whipped creams and strawberries in your deadpan voice over and over. I don't know why. It was like you were irritated with me.
Well, in a way, it was.
And you're like, whipped creams and strawberries?
Yeah.
It sounds funny in a Roop's voice. When you say it the way you were saying it, apparently tickled people,
Oh, good to know.
which is great. Yeah, I'm always surprised by what grabs people, and I can tell by the email reaction.
That was one of them.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Well,
Yep.
don't get used to it because I won't talk like that very often.
Oh, I love it. Which is probably why it worked.
Exactly.
Which is probably why it worked.
Sure.
Woody Harrelson has made quite the amount of news as of late. He slammed the COVID mandates in a new interview this week, saying the fact that they're happening under President Soup shows the U.S. is not a free country. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but he's an old hippie.
Yeah.
That's kind of his jam,
Right.
which I get.
The anti-establishment, and
Yeah.
he's gone down that road.
I saw him doing an interview, and I don't know if it was a few weeks ago or if it was more new than that, or if it just came back to light because of him doing SNL. But he was doing the what's his name's podcast, the HBO guy,
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher. Bang! You could have gone with not Jon Stewart, but John Oliver. I know, but yeah, no, Bill Maher. And Woody's sitting there the whole time. He's sitting there and he's barefoot. It's like, did you like get out of your car, take your shoes off, and then walk in the studio?
I got to tell you, I've seen a couple of the Maher like podcasts or
Yeah.
whatever. I forget what. I want to party with that dude.
Oh yeah,
Like I didn't really know that side of him too much. I mean, I know of him. I've been aware of him for
Maher's
a long
great.
time.
Maher's
And
great.
Even and whatever. That's just his beliefs. But you see him out of fucking character like that, and like
Yeah.
in his house or wherever he does this podcast, or
Yeah.
it's literally like in his basement bar, like fucking smoking weed
What
and
is the
having
name of-
drinks and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. It's fantastic. I'm like, I really want to fucking party with this dude.
yeah. He's a classic stoner.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he lost
Club
me.
Random.
Club Random. That could definitely be it,
Yeah, looks like it.
which is fairly new.
Right? Not to promote other people's podcasts. Sorry.
No, again, he's one of those that has access to everybody. Do you know how good of an interview we could do with Woody Harrelson?
Oh, it'd be so great.
Do you have any idea? Name an A-list celebrity, and do you know how good of an interview we would do with them?
Very true.
Probably better than most of these giant podcasts would do.
Absolutely.
I don't have much belief in myself. I know we do good interviews. So I don't care who the fucking celebrity is. Bring them in here. We'll do a better interview than you've probably heard in most places. Fact.
Yeah. Let's
Sorry.
get a couple of them.
Bring in
can,
receipts.
and then we'll show.
We're bringing fucking receipts. But we just don't have access to them. So it is what it is.
We gotta get the word out.
Yeah.
Right. You want to do a fucking great interview? You got to go do TDC.
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
Fuck yeah. Do it.
Got to get one to start the ball rolling.
Harrelson, anyways, he made the remarks in an interview with the New York Times. So at this point, they're still going to interview him, which is great. They will go away. Okay, this is the game plan.
Yeah.
Once you go down that road, they're going to paint him as a
Extremist,
alt-right
conspiracy theorist.
You know, yeah, exactly. MAGA, Republican, like all that shit will
Anti-vaxxer.
happen. Anti-vaxxer, and then he will be persona non grata as far as every other outlet goes. He won't be able to talk to Politico anymore. He won't be able to talk to, the New York Times anymore, the Washington Post anymore. Like, those will be off the table for him. So for right now, he's talking to the Times. He was asked about what has changed in the film industry throughout his career. Business has obviously changed. Those movies that go into theaters, people want to see action, Marvel or the Tom Cruise thing, which doesn't necessarily bode well for a movie like Champions. I'm assuming that's his new movie. But I'm hopeful that people go see it. I don't know. I've been lucky. I was glad to do and such, but my heart is more with movies like this and the indies. Now to get an indie done, especially with all these COVID protocols, which to me are rather absurd. I don't know what's going to happen. When asked by the Times, what's absurd about the COVID protocols? Is that a perfect question for the New York Times to ask, by the way?
Right. What do you mean?
Whatever do you mean?
They're trying to stay safe? What are you saying?
What's wrong with the COVID protocols? He's like, the fact that they're still going on. I don't think that anybody should have the right to demand you're forced to do the testing, forced to wear the mask, forced to get vaccinated 3 years on. I'm just like, let's be done with this nonsense. It's not fair to the crews. I don't have to wear the mask. Why should they? Why should they have to be vaccinated? How's that not up to the individual? I shouldn't be talking about this shit. It makes me angry for the crew, the anarchist part of me. I don't feel that we should be forced testing, forced masking, forced vaccination. That's not a free country. Really, I'm talking about the crew, because I can get out of wearing a mask. I can test less. I'm not in the same position they're in, but it's wrong. It's 3 years. Stop. As an anarchist, it doesn't, I don't do well with mandates.
Nor should you. Nor should any of us, right? Thank you for saying it out loud.
Yeah,
And-
he's 100%
Right? Thanks for the last interview you did.
Yeah, and it was nice knowing you, Woody. Maybe we
That's
will get him
fine.
on the
And he could
TDC
care
podcast.
less, but it's funny. My mom actually is just getting over COVID for the first time. Yeah.
She was kind of hard in the paint with COVID early
Well,
on.
a little bit, right. And she.
I remember having some discussions with her and
Yeah, I've
kind
had
of
it
slapping her
with
around a little bit.
Exactly. And I can remember going back and we were talking about, and this to each their own for the most part. I just want people to, understand what they're talking about, make their own decision, but understand the facts and make your own decision based on that.
you.
That's all it was. So we were having the discussion years ago, but actually probably was fucking
Yeah,
years
it
ago now.
was.
It was years ago now.
Yep.
And she was saying something about how we were talking about the COVID. It was whether the vax and whatever. And she said that she would be comfortable being around a group of people if they were all vaccinated. Yep, shut that down. Sorry. But not being around a group of people that weren't vaccinated.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you know how ignorant that is? Like, how uneducated that is? I'm like,
Yeah.
like you're misunderstanding what it actually is.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to tell her that, and my sister, God bless, is a doctor, and she's
Woke is woke.
well, not overly no, but
Yeah.
she was definitely on that side of it, right?
Does she still hate me?
She says she doesn't, but
Yeah.
we all know she does.
Yeah, we know.
So she's like, but your sister said, and I'm like, my sister's a fucking moron. I love you. I go, but if that's what she's saying, I go, that's
She's woefully ignorant. Because my doctor said the same thing, Troy. And I was like, okay, you've chosen.
Right.
You went through this schooling. You're smart, no
Yes.
doubt about it. But you've chosen to stay in the dark on this one thing
Yeah.
or believe one side without doing any further
Exactly
research.
right. I go, it's
just because you went to medical school does not mean that you are fully aware of everything going forward, medically speaking.
Right.
Sorry.
So
it doesn't.
My point of that thing was, I go, it's just, I go, don't, you're missing the point. Don't not do something because people aren't vaccinated. I go, it's irrelevant. I go, if you want to get the vaccine, if you want to be, vaccinated, that's your personal protection, and you can do that and understand that. I go, but just know how this actually works. It doesn't change your exposure to it at all on any level,
Yeah.
whether someone's vaccinated or not. Yeah, it does. Anyway, so we go round and round.
I remember you going round and round. And I was like, God,
Yeah.
because your mom's not an idiot.
No, not at all. But
You know what I
that's
mean?
what she listened to. And then my sister decided to toe that line. She was a mask in public person, all that. And I mean, we were literally at like one of those, hibachi places, like for dinner down there one time.
Alicia.
And she was literally the only one at the table, and she had her mask.
see her
She
now.
would literally had her mask on, would like take it down and like drink and like put her mask back on. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go out and like hug it out here in a minute. Like when we leave, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Anyway, so my mom just got COVID.
Yeah.
And I had to really bite my tongue because she's been vaccinated, she's been boosted.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
I was
A
like,
lot. Most of them will have.
yeah, and listen, she's older. Fine. It's in a way, I
sure.
want you to have that to protect yourself for it.
If it protected you, sure.
But
That
it
would
was
make
the
sense.
ignorance of thinking like it was going to protect you from like getting it, and I was like, oh. She was like, I got it. I go. And I said it once, but I let it go after that. And she was like, I got COVID. And of course I was like, oh, and I was like, but you're vaccinated.
Yeah. She's like, fuck you.
she didn't quite get it. And I was like, all right, dude, hold on. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Ma, you're okay. Everything's fine. I let it go, but it was like, okay. And now I'm,
There's something to this, and I'm going to go out on a limb here. This maybe gets us banned from wherever this show's posted.
ivermectin.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we found out down the road a little bit further that being that I remember some people saying, and it might have been Robert Malone, one of the inventors of the mRNA
yes, absolutely.
technology,
Don't get us
saying
false
you can
information.
overdo it. If you over vaccinate, you can lower
exactly
your your protection.
natural immune system.
Exactly. Your natural immune system fucks off, and then you're way more susceptible to getting it. And it made a lot of sense when he said that. Now, he didn't go into exact detail about what that number was. He didn't even know. Does that mean 2 vaccinations?
Yeah, because there's no data on it.
Booster, a second booster? We're seeing a lot of people that are vaxxed, fully vaxxed, and boosted 1, 2, 3 times, and they're getting COVID for the 3rd and 4th time. I believe Savannah Guthrie, maybe on NBC News, or Hoda Kotb, one of them, I think it was Savannah, just got COVID for the 3rd time.
Okay.
And she's been triple vaxxed or
Say,
something.
Hoda's out for something now.
I think that was personal family related.
I didn't see why. I just know that she's
Yeah,
out.
maybe she walked in on her husband sucking some guy's dick. I don't know.
possible.
Who knows? But I remember vividly early on when Kid Rock went off the deep end. He was performing in Dallas at that famous club with his band, and COVID was still fairly early on, but they got COVID and he was pissed. And I can't remember exactly what Kid was pissed about, but he was pissed about something, about the way it all went down. They had to cancel a bunch of shows, and people had, when Kid Rock does a smaller show like that, people will come in from all over the country.
There was videos of like the fans rioting. Of that,
Right.
remember? Yeah.
Right. I talked to his guitarist days after that, Jason Krause, who's a friend of the show. We've known Jason forever. And Jason was like, I was like, hey, man, hope everything's okay. When that story was blowing up, I texted him. I was like, hope everything is okay. Blah, blah, blah. I hope, because I know he got COVID at one point, and Fran, his wife, has gotten it multiple times, and their kids. It's almost a joke now. But anyways, he goes, dude, the craziest part was half the band got COVID, and there's fucking 20 members in Twisted Brown Trucker, 18 members, 16 members. Half of them got COVID and half of them didn't. But the weird thing is, the half that got COVID were all the vaccinated ones. And it was like,
Interesting.
but that's weird. And I may have told that story before on this show. I know you know that story. I don't know if at the time I wanted to out Jason, but who cares now?
That's
saying that?
just a fact.
It's a fact. Well, at the time, it was like any sort of hint that you would say, maybe there's something up with these vaccines, would get you blown off everything.
Yeah, even saying facts.
Right, right.
Is the sad part.
Exactly.
That's just a fact. It's not saying one thing or another, but that is the fact.
Yeah. So, point being, it would not surprise me if we find out down the road, and maybe it takes years, that the truth of the matter was all these people that swore and judged all of you, everyone listening who decided, you know what, I don't feel safe in an untested vaccine that doesn't have 10 years of research before hitting the public. You know, I have a lot of respect for those people because those people took a lot of fucking shit.
Yep.
They took a tremendous amount of shit. And we know people personally
Absolutely.
that took a tremendous amount of shit for that, you know, by parents at their kids' school, you know, that look down on them because people demanded. They want to know. They want to see your card. They want to know. They want to know that you're vaxxed. And
Your
so,
papers.
yeah, shows the papers. They wanted to know, and people were like, "Fuck, can I get fake papers just to?"
You could.
Yeah, you could, you know. And some people did, and just to shut people up.
Yep. And you know what? I wish now that I would have just done that route.
Yeah, me too.
You know, because that's all it was. The only
too.
reason I did it was for the piece of paper, essentially. I
Yeah.
didn't give a shit about the actual vaccine.
Part of it was I felt special because I cheated the line and got in early through a friend of
Wow, that
Jen and
speaks
Chris.
volumes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Ironically, yeah.
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 I ran to the front of the line.
Exactly.
I was kicking fucking elderly people out of the way.
Oh.
I was kicking sick nanas out of the way to cut in front of them.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. But I mean, I was, but not.
Essentially.
No, I was for sure. I was cheating the line, you know. And the way that went down was a friend of Jin's, a very good friend of Jin and Chris in California, his family owns a chain of hotels, and so it was like there was special, you know, essential worker passes. So it was like, yeah, we're doing special catering and stuff for hospital workers, but we need people to come here and do these jobs, you know, blah, blah, blah. We've got all these essential workers. And so he just called Jin and was like, dude, anyone you want to bring, we'll put them on the list as one of our essential workers. Yeah. And so it was like, I guess I'm special. And, but I wasn't all for it. But at the same time, knowing what we know, it was like, okay. And it wasn't a total distrust of those, you know what I mean? Those medical professionals.
It's the irony for me, sir.
Yeah, it is. But my health is not great. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of ailments, physical things that outside of my back, obviously, you know, when you're talking about my heart and stuff like that. So it was like, you know, doctors were warning me, doctors that I saw in California and doctors that I saw in Michigan were saying the same thing, going, dude, you do not want to get this and get sick. This could be really, really fucking bad for someone like you. And so it was like, okay, you know what? There's no doubt, had this come about when you and I were in our 20s, no fucking way we would have gotten it.
God, no.
Not a chance on planet Earth. I know how we were back then. You were not going to tell us what to do with anything about us. Yeah. That's just the way we were. There's no fucking way we would have gone to jail on principle if it had come to that.
True.
That's what it was. But for me, approaching 50 at the time and going, I know when they have the list of shit.
The comorbidities?
Yeah.
Check.
I have all of them. Literally all of them.
Check.
Except
And
ones that
check.
apply only to women, like
Not
recently
pregnant.
pregnant. It was like, that's it. You know, menopausal. It was
Yeah.
like, are you menopausal? It was like, well, I don't check that box. But every other one I did.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, when concerts came back, it was either have your card or have a fucking negative test within 24 hours or 48 hours or whatever it was of every, and I was like, I'm not doing this every
We had to do that for
time.
Jim Norton's show.
Yeah.
We had to show it, which is, I think we both have tremendous respect for Dave Landau, who went, fuck you, I'm not playing those venues.
Right.
I'm not doing it. I'll eat the money.
Yep.
I've sold out shows.
Who's the other guy that did that? The goofy guy from Half Baked, Brewer.
Brewer. Yeah, Brewer
Yep, was
took a lot of shit for that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It's like, okay, well, then I'll find a venue that I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Landau is doing, I think he's got shows in the next day or two in Vegas. And then he's going to be home and he'll be back in here, which is great. We should talk to him about that. Because that couldn't have been a terribly easy decision to make at the time.
No, especially in that
But he
business,
came out
too.
publicly, and there was press about him at the time saying, you know, what a monster he was. And I don't know how easy that was, because you didn't know at the time. If it was like, you come out early on and make a statement like that, like, no, I'm not forcing my audience to show the papers to come to my show.
Right.
I'm not playing those venues. For all he knows, every venue in the country goes, eat shit then, Dave. You don't perform anymore.
Yeah, okay.
He doesn't know.
And that's fine. That's a decision he made, and he's good with it. You know, after his dad, I can see him not trusting the government.
Yeah. We should remind me, let's not forget to talk to him about that, because that must have been a tough, or not the easiest decision to make at the time.
No, definitely not.
I did, before we get to email, because I wanted to spend a few minutes on email because we've got some decent ones. I did want to do this story. I think it's important. Twitter has unveiled new changes on their platform surrounding their policy on violence.
Okay.
I've always historically been weary about any of these social media platforms that announce something because I know how easy it is to twist. I will say, Troy,
Yeah.
I feel okay knowing that someone like Elon Musk is in charge, and I know what free speech means to him, and I believe him.
I do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. From everything I've read, everything I know about him, every interview I've watched of his, he's one of those dudes that I think really firmly knows how important free speech laws are in this country, how rare they are globally, like one of none.
True.
In this country.
Yeah. And one of the very few, very, 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 very few individuals that have the ability to affect change.
Yeah.
Like the very, very few.
Yeah.
That can.
Like literally a handful on
Like
planet
single
Earth.
digits. Right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Seriously.
There are
And
a few.
he just made it back into richest man. by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
way.
he was at number 2. They couldn't wait to say he was the second. Like it was like a shot at him. Like he's only worth hundreds of billions. It's like,
you
oh,
poor
shut
bastard.
up. Yeah. But yeah, he's back in the number 1 slot. So I'll go through this quick. And I'm not joking. I have no problem with this. I give them A+ for this lengthy write-up about what their policy is on violence.
Perfect.
And I agree with it.
The reality is that everybody agrees with it. The problem was transparency.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it was arbitrary what they deemed offensive or violations in the past. Like, let's have very clear guidelines. It's spelled out.
You don't get to go when someone goes, we're going to fight like hell and take it to the, and win the election. Yeah. You don't get to go, Trump said fight like hell. What's he trying to do? Get riots in the streets? Ban him from everything. And at the same time, while half the country's burning with Black Lives Matter riots, and ignore all that because it's got some more important meaning.
Exactly. And now the politicians are out there like, let's fight the oppression. Let's go take it to the streets.
Yeah.
They're saying the exact same thing.
Right.
And in other terms, in a way, more violent, authentic terms, but it's for the greater good.
And it was very obvious what was going on. And so it was like, okay, the way you get to twist this the way you want to make this an absolutely egregious crime, what this politician said, who, by the way, what a shock, you just don't happen to agree with.
Yeah.
But you're willing to let slide all this other stuff. No. Play it fair. Don't violate free speech laws, but that doesn't mean you get to fucking threaten someone's life. Okay? That's not free speech. That's
basic.
Illegal. So here's what they say. Twitter announced their new policy yesterday afternoon to tackle the problem of threats and violence. We've made a few changes around violent content and similar language. Today, we've officially launched our violent speech policy, which prohibits violent threats, wishes of harm, glorification of violence, and incitement of violence. That might have affected us with the video we were watching the other day. We did an hour-long breakdown of the Florida violent.
But we weren't. Yeah, but we weren't glorifying his violence. We're like, oh man, look at those shots to her head. This guy's got fucking. Look at his technique, man. This guy's really got.
True.
No, everything was about how to. It should have been stopped and wasn't.
Right.
So
yeah, we took issue with all the the secondary players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So no, none of that was glorifying any of it.
Yeah. Twitter has a zero-tolerance approach towards violent speech, and in most cases, we will suspend any account violating this policy. For less severe violations, we may require you to delete the content before you can access your account again. The company's new policy explicitly states that users are not allowed to threaten to inflict physical harm on others, which includes, but is not limited to, threatening to kill, torture, sexually assault, or otherwise hurt someone.
Okay. What about their feelings?
Yeah, I suppose if you wanted to get into the weeds on what hurt someone means, I don't think that's what
I understand.
Elon Musk
talking
policy
violence,
is.
Right.
Right.
This is specifically to violence.
This also includes threatening to damage civilian homes and shelters or infrastructure that is essential to daily civic or business activities.
Okay.
Great.
Covers most bases there.
The policy also states that users are not allowed to wish, hope, or express desire for harm, which includes and is not limited to hoping for others to die, suffer illnesses, tragic incidents, or experience other physically harmful consequences.
Right. Not saying, okay, right. I hope you get killed.
Yeah, I hope you get cancer, you blah, blah, blah. No, go fuck yourself. You may not incite, promote, or encourage others to commit acts of violence or harm, which includes but is not limited to encouraging others to hurt themselves or inciting others to commit atrocity crimes, including crimes against humanity, war crimes, or genocide. In other words, when you're watching something unfold in another country and you're wishing,
Yeah. Get them. More bombs.
This also includes using coded language, often referred to as dog whistles, to indirectly incite violence. That's a little...
That one's, I mean, you have to put it in there on some level because,
people
you
trying
read
to get
between
cute.
the lines, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's something that could potentially be abused or manipulated.
It's like when people do the capital letter, lowercase capital letter, hoping the AI goes, I got no idea what it's saying. I don't know.
I always thought that was like, you're stupid. Like,
Maybe.
code.
I know there's some of those where they misspell a word and AI just goes, I don't know. He misspelled murder. He must not mean murder. I don't know. Stupid.
Red rum.
Yeah, red rum. I don't get it.
I'll red rum your ass.
The policy also prohibits users from glorifying, praising, and celebrating acts of violence, praising violent entities and perpetrators who commit crimes. The company said it believes in free speech, including allowing expressions of violent speech when there is no clear abusive or violent context, such as hyperbolic or consensual speech between friends.
Oh, Pablo. Okay.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Interesting. You'd sent me a screenshot of somebody posted the exact same picture.
Yeah, Tank Sinatra.
Tank Sinatra, whoever the whoever the fuck.
He's
that
pretty
is.
funny.
Okay. But regardless, posted the exact same Pablo picture that I did.
Yeah.
And nothing.
And it had thousands of likes.
Nothing,
and
not
comments.
one thing.
Yeah.
I posted as a comment about it.
And it was on Facebook.
Yeah.
It was on Facebook.
On
It wasn't
Facebook.
like it was on
Twitter or something else.
Rumble
different.
or Twitter.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
On Facebook. That somehow. So apparently it's not the picture.
Yeah.
It was on the fucking goddamn watch list.
Yeah. So if you're talking between friends, Pablo, or during discussions of video games and sporting events, we're going to kill the Giants this weekend.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we all know the difference between something like that
Intent.
and I hope someone goes over to Troy Courtney's house and kills him this weekend.
Oh, so intent matters again.
Yeah, thank you.
God bless.
We also allow certain cases of figures of speech, satire, or artistic expression when the context is expressing.
Satire. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not gonna boot the bee anymore.
B, yeah.
Or artistic expression when the context is expressing a viewpoint rather than instigating actionable violence or harm. We make sure to evaluate and understand the context behind the conversation before taking action.
Oh, I mean, yeah, right. I mean, one more time for the people in the back.
Yeah.
That's all anybody's ever asked
Yes.
for. That's all you could hope for.
Does this mean there's not some weird loophole where this is not going to be perfect 100% of the time?
No, nothing is.
But
intent matters.
Yes. Context matters.
Exactly.
At least it used to, and it always should have.
Amen.
That's the point of this. Context should always matter. And for a long time, when you gave these fucking clowns that were running these things full carte blanche to make their own rules up as they went, they violated First Amendment rights to an appalling level. Yeah. Appalling level. And the fact that government agencies, in concert with these social media groups, felt that comfortable putting shit on fucking paper, putting stuff in emails and text, they felt that comfortable with it, shows you the level of how bad this was. Yeah. So to have a guy like him in charge, this has to have trickle-down effect.
The grown-ups
has
are back
to.
in charge.
Yeah.
There's an adult in the room. Thank you.
God bless Elon Musk for stuff like this, and I truly mean that. It doesn't mean there's not a possible loophole where
Of course.
something can get fucked up.
No.
I get it.
Let's just put the train back on the fucking tracks. Let's
Thank you.
get it back on the rails. That's
Thank
all.
you. Thank you.
Hey, emails today are going to be brought to you by your insurance expert. Are you paying too much for health insurance?
I am.
Are you uninsured? Health insurance can be confusing. Nick Matthews from Your Insurance Expert is an expert in health insurance, life insurance, and Medicare supplements, so you don't have to be. Call Nick Matthews at 248-914-1173. That's Nick Matthews at 248-914-1173. There's an email. He actually does have a website somewhere. I made that comment. He was like, yeah, I do have a fucking...
Oh, yeah, he emailed me that too.
Yeah, actually, he told me he sent it to you, and that's why I don't have it.
I probably have it in the email. I just haven't been able to.
We're going to rewrite that for him, but and we'll include it. But
Yeah.
call him and ask him what his email is or his website is.
Yeah, there you go.
And then go there.
There you go.
I'm betting it's something to yourinsuranceexpert.com or something.
Yeah, I think it is. And if I find the email in here, I'll read it.
Okay.
We did get an email from James. We'll start there.
All right.
Regarding movies.
James.
How dare you? I've kicked freeloaders out of the theater for trying to scam free popcorn in perpetuity and jumping into another flick. We used to run a tight ship where I worked. Nowadays, seats are assigned, so you were stealing a seat. I'd throw you out. P.S. We stay at $100 a night Hamptons, and they always have whipped creams and strawberries.
Bullshit.
And more.
Bullshit.
The best equipped one had the most amazing hookup. More than what a big boy would have.
Bullshit.
That's what I remember.
Bullshit.
You know what? I was thinking about this more when I first went to California at the height of the pandemic, and they made me go to the hotel for 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't a La Quinta. It was like it wasn't a Hampton Inn, but it was like a local chain. You know what I mean? So, and I remember this. I totally forgot about this. But I was like, well, I don't have anything to do here. So, and I would go downstairs, and they were all like, there were seats up on tables. Like, they didn't want to put anything out. So there was no breakfast spread or anything. And so I would go down to the front desk, right? And it might be fucking 8 o'clock at night. It might be midnight. It might be noon. And I'd go down there, and I'd go, 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000. Well, guess they're not coming today. And they had these whole racks of they had a
Whipped creams and strawberries?
no. They had a whole fridge filled with Gatorades and all the pops, name your pop and water. And then they had a whole rack of chips and candy bars and all that. But they were so afraid of COVID in California that nobody would show up. And so I'd go down there and I'd go, well, I guess they don't want my money. And I'd just grab a Gatorade, a fucking Coke, and then I'd grab a water, and then I'd grab a Kit Kat, and I'd grab a Reese's, and I'd be like, well, I was fully willing to pay, but you don't want to come here. Well, see you later. Call my room if you want something. And I'd just go up to my room. And I did that every day.
All right.
Every fucking day I'd go, well, I guess they don't want my money today. Yeah. What was I going to do? They wouldn't even send anyone to the front desk.
Yeah. What are you going to do with that?
And especially at night. All
right. But we're gonna do this because I'm just calling bullshit right
Oh,
now.
look at that fruit plate at the Hampton Inn.
Yeah, that's fine.
Gorgeous.
This is Hampton Inn Continental Breakfast. Okay.
Yeah.
I see waffles.
Oh,
And not one waffle has whips, creams, or strawberries.
Well, maybe they don't want to put it on there, but they're there.
Okay.
Look at that one's got whipped cream.
That's butter.
That's a lot of butter.
Yeah,
Could be whipped cream.
could be.
Look at the crepes. It's got a strawberry on it. Oh, look at that ad.
I've been to Hampton Inn, and I've actually been to one not that long ago, and it did not, just for the record,
Okay.
have it. And
I'm telling you.
maybe I'm at the wrong one, but I think you just added that part onto James' email for your.
I did not. I'll read it to you. You can go to my email and look. TDC merch. I can't wait for the TD store to offer Craig Christ merch. The possibilities are endless. Craig Christ shirts, hats, mugs, bumper stickers. Instead of the Jesus fish, there's the Craig Christ peacock. Love always and forever. Chris, we cannot take credit for that. That was a
Oh, God, no.
That was
Yeah.
a joke.
That's a bit. That's a song.
Oh my God, it's
One of the
a
best.
Stephen Lynch song.
Yeah.
Craig Christ. It's one of the greatest songs ever.
It's fantastic.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It gets funnier the more you listen to it and the more references you pick up.
Right.
I wish to God I had come up with Craig Christ.
No doubt. No doubt.
There's certain things, like if he would have said, there's a few names that would have worked, but Craig Christ, calling him, Jesus's brother Craig, is great. So Chris, thank you for that. I wish we could take credit for that. And believe me, if I came up with something as brilliant originally as Craig Christ,
no doubt.
we would put it on shirts everywhere. Yeah. If you haven't listened to that, go listen to Michigan's own Stephen Lynch, Craig Christ.
I was about to play a little bit, but won't bother.
There was a day when we probably could have gotten him in here.
Yeah, maybe still.
We used to get him in on the Drew and Mike show, and he was so fucking good, so funny.
Yeah.
And he's in Kazoo,
Yeah.
Just probably reach out to him again.
That would be great.
He's kind of a libtard, but
that's okay.
I don't care. We don't.
Why don't we keep politics fucking out of it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%.
What a novel,
dude. Believe me. Do you think when I was trying to have Jeff fucking
Daniels
Bridges? In here, Daniels
George?
Who? No, not Jeff George. When I was trying to have Jeff Daniels in here, because we did his fucking event every year for 15 goddamn years and sold that event out for him every year for 15 years, it wouldn't have been that out of the, like crazy. I used to hang out with his little kids when they were fucking 5, right? And play hockey with them on the golf course. They'd have kind of shit set up where you could play hockey. And I'd hang out with his little kids. Like we knew Jeff.
Yeah.
And so, but no, it came down to politics. It was like, I went up and down swearing, look, I don't have any interest in talking politics with Jeff at all. None. Zero. I don't need to mention who's president. I don't care.
Right. I won't bring it up. You don't bring it
matter.
up. Let's sit down and talk.
He doesn't. No, he has no interest. And I'm like, okay. So he either got wind, and I know his booking woman knew our show and didn't like our politics.
There you go.
And so, for what that's worth, I still know people over there. We know people over there at Purple Rose, and they're not interested in it. But believe me, I would take Jeff Daniels tomorrow, and we would never mention a word about politics.
No.
He could bring it up if he wants.
It would be the last thing I would want to talk to fucking that guy about.
Exactly.
The last thing.
Exactly. Unless he wanted to talk about it, I'd gladly talk. He can talk about whatever he wants.
He can, but yeah. Like,
I would never bring it up.
I could probably sit here right now and list off 400 things off the top of my head that I would rather talk to him about than anything politics.
Of course. And it was really sad because it looked like we were going to be able to get him at one point a few years ago. And then it was like, no. And I knew exactly what it was. It was that wall between his personal person. And I even tried to jump her at one point and have people go over her head, which is not the coolest thing to do, but it was like, fuck it.
Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
And people that have listened to the show know how respectful we are of guests. We do not get into heated confrontations with guests.
No.
Very rarely.
Right.
Very rarely. Anyway.
Unless you're a douche canoe.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Oh my God. Howdy, fellas. DeSantis versus Disney and the good old days. My niece is one of the college age. I'd like to see a picture.
All right. Just keep reading.
Just saying. Underpaid interns currently working at Disney in Orlando.
Wait, we talked about cousins. What's the niece situation?
Oh, yeah. Get in with the nieces.
Is that the same level as cousin? What's
Sure.
I don't know. I
don't know.
It's 1 degree less separation, I think, right?
Dude, yeah. I think
well, it would be
niece.
his kid.
No, you can't fucking niece.
I'm asking.
Cousins is one thing. Niece,
I mean, I don't know.
No. First niece,
Listen,
no.
First of all, I'm not trying to fuck a niece, for the record. I was curious after the cousins discussion yesterday.
Let's see here. My niece, that would be a great gig for a college age intern working at Disney in Orlando. That would be sweet. That'd be a lot of fun.
Sure.
She's been there since October and coming home in a few weeks. Plus, I think you stay there. It's probably like Cedar Point. We have dorms for the summer.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
So, dude,
like,
you're
get
banging.
your own place. Yeah, they're fucking like, dorms basically. Is exactly what it equates to.
God, I want to do that now.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, I almost got a job on a cruise ship.
So did I at one point.
Yeah,
I thought about it.
I think we might have. Like, I think we were talking about it at the
Together.
time. We were going to do a daycare. I was going to work in daycare on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Coming off the Gallagher disaster.
Yeah, we could have done that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm keeping tabs on her Snapchats, and she's making new friends and having fun. Her full-time position is working as a bellhop guide at the Haunted Mansion, which, if you ask me, sounds like one of the best positions you could land there. Furthermore, I asked her if she has heard any rumblings regarding the law DeSantis signed, and she had no idea what I was talking about. Take that for what it's worth.
That doesn't affect the ground level.
But it does. They're firing thousands of people.
Right, but I'm saying that like,
I have a story.
Yeah, there'll be collateral damage of it. But what I'm saying is that it's they're not involved on that day-to-day
No.
level like that.
And Mike, how could you mention your first concert at Pine Knob and not retell the amusing anecdote regarding the blanket? Yeah, I'm going to leave that right there. For God's sakes, in Mike Clark's voice, Frank Fox. The anecdote, if you...
Frank J. Fox? The Frank J. Fox?
The Frank J. Fox.
Hey-oh. Tell Mike I said hello.
So, that was when we were sitting on the blanket and some drunk chick kept, like, getting lower and lower on the blanket, and my dad finally was like, would you get off the fucking blanket? And he's there with two 11 or 12-year-olds, right? Like me and my buddy. And
for the record, it's hard not to keep sliding down the hill a little bit.
Yeah, well, whatever. She was clearly drunk as shit, making out with her boyfriend, rolling around on her own.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. But my dad's like, okay. And she's like, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And it was the first...
Bob didn't give her a backhand there?
Well, her boyfriend's there, and he's got a couple kids. And it's the first time I've ever heard my dad swear, and he hauled off and called her a bitch.
Boy.
Yeah, it was funny as shit, and I was horrified. I was just saw my dad, and she was like, fuck you, blah, blah. And she got in my dad's face, and blah, blah. It was terrible. I think,
or was it fantastic?
It's sort of no. It was more scary to a 12-year-old.
It was fantastic.
Who'd never heard his dad swear, haul off and call this drunk idiot a bitch.
Yeah.
And she's like, fine. You want the blanket? She starts grabbing the blanket and dragging us up the hill.
Okay.
Yeah. It was drunk and.
How'd that go with 3 people on it?
Well, I don't know that we were still on it. At this point, we're standing up and he's calling her a bitch and arguing, and she's grabbed the blanket. And it was like, oh boy. Yeah.
Did boyfriend even get up?
I don't remember. I hardly remember the story until he was like the blanket anecdote.
Okay. So now I know that it's Mike's brother, not sister or mother, whatever.
What's that?
It wasn't Francis. I wasn't
sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Wasn't positive.
This is a Chris. I don't recognize this name, so this could be a first-time emailer.
Long-time listener.
Maybe. Subject waffles. Sorry, Mike. Free with tea, right? I have never been to a hotel that has whipped creams and strawberries for the waffles. I was laughing my ass off about this topic and the way T-Roy said whipped creams and strawberries over and over. Awesome, Chris. I'm telling you, man, I have more emails than I could fucking print out.
No, keep reading
them. No, we've had enough.
I'll go print them out right now.
No, that's okay. Let's see here. Let's see. To Mike and T-Roy, T-E-E. See, I just do T hyphen.
Yeah, that's
Roy.
Yeah.
T-Roy. Michael, you were talking about laughing gas. I had a procedure done because I had prostate cancer. That procedure is called...
How many fingers were in that butt over the time? Yeah, from the time you got to go in there and find it to the time you got to like...
I don't want to joke about prostate cancer.
No, not at all. I'm just curious. Like, I mean, from the first time you go in for it to the time they take it out or whatever the hell they do with it, it's a lot of fingers in the butt.
Well, I have a story in here today that obviously we've gone late. We're doing email that I never did, but it's about some new robot technology, and it goes in the asshole. And then it fingers around in there and finds shit. And it can stitch shit up, and it does 3D printing. It can, and they're like, this is like 5-6 years away from being in use. And all I could think was like,
this is what you're going in for.
No, yeah, right, sort of. But no, and the cartoon drawings of just an ass with this thing being jammed into it, and I was just like, I can just imagine the amount of gay guys lined up outside the hospital demanding no anesthesia whatsoever.
Right.
Like, so we're going to have you count backwards from 100 now. And they're like, absolutely, I will sue you.
Just spit on it. Just spit on it.
Just spit on it a little bit. They're talking about it being able to go in and out. And I'm like, Yeah, I bet it does.
Okay.
They're talking about having a rubbery nozzle.
You mean they don't have that now? I think
a
I've
certain
seen
stiffness. They're talking
I've
about a
seen
stiffness
that
to
video.
it.
What are you talking about?
I've been watching those videos on UJIS for years. So yeah, it's like, oh my God, the amount of guys lining up for this thing, just like, this is the third time you've been in for this procedure.
This is for
This
colon
week.
cancer? Is this or is this just for pleasure?
No, it's for finding. It's more
For finding what? The spot?
yeah, dude.
Prostate, got it. Milk, 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 milk.
Your robot surgeon will see you. Robotic arm enters the body through the rectum to 3D print living cells on damaged organs.
Well, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, they've developed a flexible robot that enters the rectum to 3D print living cells on damaged organs, eliminating the need for patients to go under the knife. University of South Wales, Sydney.
Don't go under the knife. You go on the fist.
You just get fingered. You get fisted. Yeah. The team designed a miniature robot arm to directly.
Why is it got to be an arm?
Yeah, right. It's better than a clip.
Why can't it be
helmet.
like a pencil?
Yeah, right. It's to deliver bio ink made of gelatin, collagen, human cells. They're talking about water can also be directed through the nozzle to clean any blood. I'm like, this thing comes in your ass when it's done.
Right.
I'm like, okay, are you just fucking with us now? Oh yeah, it squirts water out of the nozzle.
Douche you out while you're in there.
I'm like, are you basically saying this thing goes in? It's got different levels of stiffness.
Well, listen, if you're going to go in there and you got to work on it, you got to get all the fucking shit out of the way. So you got to go in there and power wash the area first.
Sure. Yeah, so it basically gets inside you and then it can come in there and everything. I was like, yeah, this thing's gonna be it's gonna be a line out the window for the new the new asshole fucking 3D surgeon. When I went into
University of San Francisco designed this.
yeah, right. It's Sydney, but San Francisco's like, what? When I went into the procedure room and got into the stirrups, my nurse gave me a wand that was laughing gas and just told me to keep hitting it till I pass out. I can understand why she gave me this because about 5 minutes later, as I opened my eyes and I looked up and saw it, a room full of 9 nurses and 5 doctors all staring at my butthole a little bit.
Yeah, we want to improve your fucking demeanor after this one. It's one thing like for you to not feel it. We just want to also make sure you don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Because of the laughing gas, I really couldn't have cared less. It helped. I love the fact that he said, this is one of my pet peeves. I really could have cared less. No, it's couldn't care less.
Could not have cared less.
Could not have cared less is what it is. Because if you could have cared less, well, then you could have cared less.
You would have. If you could have, you would have.
You would have. So he says, I couldn't have cared less. This was the point I was making. When I got like eyes behind the head and was just like in my head going, lean into this. Let's see where we come out on the other end. We're going hard in the paint and we're just going to see where this ends up. You could have fisted my asshole at that point. I wouldn't have cared.
Yeah.
It was
Second
like,
time you said that.
yeah,
No
you
wonder
could
like
have
the
though.
gas.
But I want to be very clear about how fucking high I was that you could have fingered, fisted, licked, tickled.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, anything you wanted. If you and Troy are bored, just Google space OAR and look at the procedure. I'm about pass on that one.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Maybe if you can get me some of that gas, that laughing gas, I would. But other than that,
I'm passing around, watch the video.
oh shit! I told my brother that it resembled a German porno. Keep up the great works, gentlemen. Big fan of the show, Doug. Thank you, Doug.
Oh, Doug.
Dear Volt and Dolt,
Our best friend Doug, and then we're gonna give him a best friend hug. Doug, Doug, oh, Doug, Dougie, Dougie, Doug, Doug.
and if we get home by some crystal meth tweakers, well then we're shit out of luck. Student-teacher violence. Dear Volt and Dolt, Volt, I'd rather have a V in my name than a D.
Oh,
I don't want a D.
You want a D
I don't
in
want a
me?
D at
So I
all.
get
I want
stuck with
that
a D
V
in me. Damn
You're
it.
getting a D in you. I want that V all day. All right,
You
Volt.
do have a V. I have a D.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yep, that's true. Yeah. Dear Volt and Dolt, regarding the student attacking the teacher, it only happened once.
Is this
in my
fucking NFL?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, he keeps coming up with these weird nicknames. I just wonder where they come from.
True. It's probably that this person has heard NFL
see, hold
Bob.
on. No, I'm the electrician. I'm Volt. You're Dolt.
Fuck. Fine, you're the V. I got that big old D.
I get the V.
I'm the capital D. It only happened once in my 4-year high school career that I'm aware of. Burnout loser attacked the littlest old lady teacher. 2 of us in the class put the fucking boots to this clown. Broken jaw and much more. Point is, anyone in the vicinity of this attack has carte blanche to kill this animal as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. Oh, I mean, listen, you're not kidding.
That's from Jeff.
That's
Yeah.
exactly. Carte blanche is fucking the absolute. Problem is, there wasn't one fucking dude that showed up, because I'm not even going to call Rotzi a dude.
Yep.
With that fucking saunter he had over there, it's bullshit. Yeah, you get some guys taking care of it, handle it, even 270, whatever he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? But good for you. Good for you for handling your business.
Shit, yes. You know, there's a really disturbing video that came out yesterday. I don't know if you saw it, T.
I did not.
I did watch it. And you know how when they show violent videos and it's like a shooting or something, and they show like the guy put the gun to someone, and then right before they pull the trigger, the video stops.
Right.
This one does not.
Okay.
And so it's a guy filming on the streets. It's in St. Louis, I believe. And there's a homeless guy sitting Indian style. He's just sitting on a curb downtown, right? And there's another guy standing
on his front porch.
What?
On his front porch.
No. Yeah, on his front porch, exactly. Yeah. Homeless dude just sitting there. There's another guy, and apparently these two got in some sort of an argument down the street earlier. He's standing there 3 feet from the guy, and he's slowly, and when I say slowly, I mean like 2-3 minutes time. He's loading bullets into his magazine, and then he puts it in there, and it takes like a couple minutes, and then these guys are filming. They're like, "Oh yeah, I think I heard gunshots a little while ago." The other guy's like, "I don't think I heard gunshots, but maybe I did." And they're just watching this guy, and they're filming like around a corner.
Yeah, right.
You know, he's probably
Protecting themselves.
Yeah.
Not the homeless guy. Not intervening.
Exactly.
World star.
You can look this up too.
I will not.
Yeah, but they're 15 feet away and just filming it. You know, not fucking landscape, but
Of course.
yeah, portrait shit.
Exactly.
And they're
You know
just
what you're
filming
dealing
it
with
like,
there.
"Oh yeah, look, he's loading his gun. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's taking a while, but he's loading his gun." And then the guy fucking finally comes up and just shoots guy. And you hear the bullet, boom, he's in inches from this guy's fucking back of his head.
Yeah.
And pulls the trigger, and these guys are like, "Oh, he shot him. He's dead. He killed him. First off, homeless guy, you had all the time in the world to get up and fucking run away, right?
Yep.
But we'll assume he's homeless for a reason.
Yep.
Because
and I'll
he's not
also
all
assume
there.
that somebody that's going to slow roll the loading the gun thing is probably not actually going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're doing it for the show,
Yeah.
then
To this guy's
sure thing,
point,
guy.
though, if someone's doing that and you're filming it, you got to piss really bad.
I'm listening.
You do you? If you're in that position, charge the fucking guy and tackle him. I'm sorry. At some point, you got to look out for your fellow humans.
Yeah, I mean,
Charge him and tackle him, and then run.
How about one of you guys at least call the cops instead of filming
things
it
like
that?
Christ.
Yeah. Now, a guy
But
with
that
a gun.
guy, you like that. I broke his fucking jaw stomping on his
Yes,
face when
goddamn
he
right.
went after a teacher.
Rightfully
right?
so.
That's not a gun. And this guy was taking such his sweet time. It's like, hey, homeless guy, run. He's going to shoot you. Or you and your buddy, 2-on-1 with this clown, go fucking run full speed and stick his ass on the cement.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that you run at the guy with the gun necessarily.
I think you do. He's loading it. The magazine's not in the gun. Run at him.
Yeah. Listen, I sure.
All right, one last one. So I know you and T-Roy get the say on what is and isn't read, so I'll write and let you decide what you will leave and leave out. I am the product of first cousins that were clearly fucking. They were clearly fucking, but they also got married in Michigan.
Wait, the product, so obviously they were fucking.
Yeah.
Right? Like product like the child of?
Well, it could have been jacked off into something, and then I don't know. But yeah, they were clearly fucking. Now, not sure when the no first cousins getting married in Michigan law came, gross, in effect. I am the youngest of 4. My oldest sibling was born in 1966. Wonder if my dad had to pay for a divorce of a non-existing marriage. Anyways, Scott.
Okay.
I'm not going to out him any further than that.
Yep, nope, that's fine. Any health issues there, Scott? Just curious.
Yep.
Any of the 4 of you? How many are still
Stump
alive or what?
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
We have a bunch more email. Please send your emails. Emails are so fun for us.
I like it.
Yeah.
Especially when they validate my
Whips, creams, and strawberries. I still don't think that debate is over fully.
I think it's pretty much put to bed.
It's look, I'm getting my ass kicked, but it's early in the third quarter. Plenty of time. Looking for Frank Reich when you need him, you know. All right, let's let T go take a whiz. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Walters@DetroitCast.com. If you would like to send an email, we would be glad to read it on the air. And with that, we'll call it a day. We will see you tomorrow for one final show, and Big E will be here. All right. Bye, everybody.